On board. Hello and welcome back to another Sims Sunday. Today I'm going to be doing a fun little challenge where I'm going to be using the budget for a starter home for one sim to build a house. Normally my builds are like 100,000 quid, simoleons, quid for you guys in the other parts of the world is pounds in the UK. It's quite a lot of money, I know, oopsies, but I'm gonna keep it simple today and see what I can do
as you
with
can
this
see, we
budget.
start off
So
with
let's
20,000 simoleons. This is the amount that you get after making a family of one sim. I believe it does increase after, like, if you start with multiple sims, so like 3 or 4 sims, the money goes up, so you get more to actually afford anything. You can also see now that I am currently building the shell of the house. It is quite a small house, and it did actually turn out being a tiny house as well, which I did not intend of doing, but it just happened that way, and it was also cheap that way. So if you ever do download this in the gallery, then you will get lots of perks from being in a tiny house as well. Here I am just adding a door and messing around with windows. I did try with base game windows, and then I moved on to the Parenthood windows because they looked better at the front. I did see this build sort of house style in a floor plan, which is another thing I didn't tell you at the start of the video, but this is kind of based off a floor plan. It did take a while to sort of work out. I did try and record this multiple times and I kept screwing it up every time, so this is probably about the 4th or 5th attempt of making this house. I also added a chimney because I wanted to add a fireplace because it would look absolutely great. You can also see that I'm currently layering with the pavement entry for the front of the house. I put Smarter Than Soil terrain paint on before I put the like gravel texture terrain paint on. I'm also now putting brick on the, well, it's like stone bricks on the chimney. I did do a little bit of a mix up where I used siding, like wooden paneling, for the house as well, because there is a big trend with all of my builds that most of them will have brick on them at some point, but I wanted to have a bit of a change. Here I now start furnishing the house. I use the Parenthood counters for the kitchen, and I also use one of the cheaper base game fridges because it came in white and it kind of matched the counters. I also used a white base game oven. It's one of the cheapest ones that there was there that is base game, because the rest are kind of, they didn't really match, and they were either the city living one, which looks like a bag of shit, or they were just kind of really expensive. You can also see that I'm now adding some clutter. I did try and get some curtains on that window, but it didn't work out, so I didn't do that in the end. I also used a shelf from Tiny Living. It looks really good and it has like oven gloves on it, so I thought it'd match with the kitchen sort of area. You can also see that I put a cookie jar on the top of the fridge for funsies. I did in fact wall in the kitchen as well. I also added an archway to the kitchen and used the Home Chef Hustle tiles as well. I did actually end up using them in blue, which is later on in the video, because I realised that there was too much beige in the build. And there was a weird kind of glitch where when I added the wallpaper and the clutter was there, it decided to delete the clutter. So I had to go back and then have to do it all again. And then I also tried doing the other walls on the other side in a different colour, which also didn't work because there were 2 different colours. So I ended up using the Home Chef Hustle
tiles for the entire room. I also used the Home Chef Hustle tile on the floor as well because I thought it would look really great. I do apologise that I keep stuttering. I used the Eco Lifestyle light for the kitchen, and I also made a bedroom here. As you can see, I did also use the base game doors because I always use them and I really like them, and I don't know why I always use them. Here you can see I'm just removing the saucer lights that I added at before, which you probably did not see in the build earlier because I like to edit that part out. Also I got a new pack. It's the Book Nook pack. I keep getting packs, so it's like almost every week that I end up getting a pack. I need to slow down because money is very short at the moment. You can see that I've added the Life and Death TV stand and the base game TV. I also used the Life and Death sofa, which is kind of weird that it likes to clip into the walls, which I don't understand, but it just does. I did also change the swatch to a beige sort of colour. There is a bit of a theme with beige in this build because normally I end up using blue or green, and I'm trying to get out of the comfort zone and try something new. And then we did end up going back to blue at the end, which is quite annoying. You do see that there is not a fireplace here yet, which I do end up changing because I thought, well, I've added a chimney and it's a bit silly if there is not a chimney and I've added one. So I did end up adding a fireplace. Here you can see that I'm adding one, and it did take a while to figure out which one to use, and then I did use the one from base game, which is fairly new, and I also added the TV onto it, which I used by pressing the 9 key, which makes it raise up. You can also see that I'm adding a desk, and that was quite a challenge to see what desk to use. And I also used the base game desk in a dark wood colour, and I also did try out the pastel pop seat, which did not work, so we had to change that at round 2. Please just trust the process. We did use a matching desk chair which matched the seat in the living room area. We are now adding the wallpaper, which I used a base game wallpaper. I believe it's the one I normally use. I don't know why I normally use this one, but we did add some grey to the build as well to be different. I am now adding a dining table. I did use the one from Snowy Escape. You may be also wondering, where is the footage for the bathroom? I cut that bit because I thought that it was going to be really boring. So we have no bathroom footage for you to stop you from being bored, because it's just a bathroom at the end of the day. It's nothing fun about it. I added a circular rug from the base game underneath the table as well because it looked too beige and I wanted to have a different colour. Here we are now in the bedroom, and I am using the pink bed from Business and Hobbies. You will see that in a minute that I do actually change that because I wanted to add more colour because it was too beige. I know I keep saying it was too beige a lot, but it was just too beige. You can also see that I am adding the Jungle Adventure mirror. I also use a lot of bookshelves from the Book Nook kit. It does take me a while to sort out how they go, but I ended up making it so it was like books everywhere, but I also put a shelf above the bed where the wardrobe would go because I thought it would look kind of cool in a small area. You can see that I am using the one from High School Years. It's got a little hanger rail underneath it. I did try using the Dream Home decorator ones, but it didn't match wood, and there was no matching wood in the Book Nook kit. So here are the shelves from High School Years.
You will also eventually see that I do use the clothing from Dream Home Decorator and High School Years. I did in fact change it so both of the clothing was from High School Years. You can also see that I'm now adding lights. I used the lights from the Parenthood pack because I thought that they'd look really good in this build. I used carpet from the base game, which is from one of the newer updates, and I used it in the colour grey, and I also added a pastel pop rug, which is one of the newer packs that I've got now as well. Newer meaning what I've got. You can see that I'm testing out different wallpaper. I did end up using the lighter pink wallpaper everywhere but the back wall to make it look more funky. So there is different colours everywhere. There are many pictures and decals that I use as well, which I believe eventually disappear because I realised that there are no walls, there are no windows in the back of this build, so I had to add them in later. I added the windows in off camera, and I also changed the colour of the rug underneath the dining table to a teal blue because I thought the other colour was boring. And that is it for the build today, so let's show you the final build. So starting off, as you walk in, here is the kitchen. I used far too many packs for this build. Hopefully I will do a build with less packs in the future. Here is the wallpaper. It's Home Chef Hustle wallpaper. I did change the colour because it looked too grey. So we needed a bit of colour in there. And then we move on to the little dining table bit. This is from Snowy Escape. I think it looks pretty cute. It looks pretty cute, yeah. Here is the bathroom. It's got the same tile as the kitchen, and there's like tile all on the floors because I thought I'd have a bit of a mix up, because why not? Is the walls. I need to sort out how I show these off. I'll do that eventually when I work out how to do it. And then here is the living room. It's got a little fireplace to make it nice and cozy, and a little desk. And then here is the bedroom. There's lots in it. I put a wardrobe above the bed because why not? So that is it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give the video a like. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe, and I will see you on Monday, hopefully, for another Water Park Simulator episode. Yay! Bye bye.